Hey guys, welcome back to, I guess, my submission set. I'm not sure what to call this for as like a series. I feel weird saying my name and CCLP5, so I'll just call it my submission set. Um, Before we jump into things, there's a couple things I want to address and bring up. I'll try to keep it as condensed as possible because I realize having a almost 9 minute monologue before playing is a little uh, it's not exactly inviting as a video. Um, First and foremost, this set has been updated. Initially, when I recorded the last video or the first video, the set had 225 levels, and it was pretty set in stone to stay at that. However, I decided to take one quick last look at other levels that either people wished I submitted or I just glossed over when I compiled the submission set. Um, Stuff like that. I went back and looked through other levels of mine and other sets, and I decided to add 25 more. Most of the ones I added were some that some people expressed a little bit of disappointment over not being included in the first place. Mainly stuff from Walls of CCLP3 or I think there was some Josh-CCLP5 level as well. I think it was Twin Pines Mall is what I added. So yeah, that level and 24 others have been added to this set, which means this set now has 250 levels that are uh, that is going to be con- contenders for CCLP5. Hopefully, all 250 are. I imagine some of these will get called, but that's okay. I'm hoping with as little sets as we have submitted, there probably won't be a lot of calling. To be honest, I think the main things that will be called would be things just not proven solvable through a TWS requirement or whatnot. So there's that. Uh, so the set has 250 levels, which means this Let's Play is going to go on a little bit longer than you might expect. So just hopefully the ride will just last a little bit longer. The other important thing I wanted to bring up is JB posted a video earlier today or tonight that addresses some of the things I said in the last video, and I just wanted to quickly mention them and I guess kind of give a low-key response to it as well. But I will go ahead and mention that I won't say too much about it because I do feel like at this point it is kind of having like a indirect conversation with JB himself, and I feel like if it's going to continue on, we might want to consider moving it to like a voice chat or even a CCLP5 podcast because I know he's expressed interest in wanting to do something like that. So that's something that we can consider doing, JB, if you're listening in on this, which I hope you are. I would like to continue the conversation and discussion with you on a personal level instead of just referencing each other's videos because I feel like that's for the viewers, it's not really fair to them. I realized in the last video I posted, it went on longer than it should have. So, and it kind of it unintentionally set the tone for this playthrough. The stuff I brought up in the last video, that's not what I recorded for. I'm doing this for the enjoyment of just providing content for people to watch. That just so happened to happen around that time. So even if I started doing this playthrough months ago and it was still ongoing, the same thing would have happened basically. So this Let's Play is not to call out people or anything like that. But your response is very appreciated, JB. I do accept the apologies, and I with the clarity provided of the statements that were said about that one level, I understand a lot better now. I think at the end of the day, what I gathered out of that was the way I was watching the Let's Play of Wallace's CCLP3. I was viewing it in a different light than the set was being played under. You had mentioned the rubric you were playing that level, and I have to just make the assumption that the entire set is being played under this rubric of whether or not the level is a good candidate for CCLP5. I didn't realize that's what the set was being played with that mindset. I thought the set was being played just to play it, just to have fun and experience it. That's what I was perceiving it as. So I was naturally watching it in that light. But uh, after the response I got, I gathered that that's not how the set has been Let's Played thus far. Knowing that now, having that clarity really does help a lot, because the whole thing just kind of came across like the level just wasn't good enough, or I didn't try hard enough with the level, or just stuff like that. It kind of felt more personal than it probably needed to be, and I'm to blame for that as well, because I've been going through a lot of stuff and I'm more sensitive and blah blah blah. Um, but yeah, I understand it now. I get it, and I accept the apology. I really do appreciate that you took the time to, not just the time, but you dedicated almost an entire video episode talking about it, and I really do sincerely appreciate that sacrifice. I don't treat that lightly in any capacity. Not, especially this day and age, not a lot of people would do that. Most people probably wouldn't even acknowledge they do something. Um, they do something like that. They would do it and just say, "Oh, well, get over it." I'm glad you didn't do that. So I do appreciate that you took the time to respond to it accordingly, and you made sure I was heard and stuff. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. But yeah, like I said, if you would like to, like, I can go more in depth with this stuff. Like maybe in like a level later on in this, I can talk more about it. But I'm gonna try to keep it to a minimum for the time being. I would be more than happy to have some kind of voice conversation through Discord, or, like I said, a CCLP5 podcast, because that whole stuff that I was feeling kind of, it didn't just reflect on the one level. It kind of reflected just any level. I could have been anyone else's level, and I could have potentially felt the same way, but I felt more so because it was my own level. Anyway, this is Blazing Jungle. This is a level I made for Josh-CCLP5, I believe. And this room is both a sardine can and a Sokoban. The red button will activate the tanks and toggle door once. Okay. I primarily submitted this for difficulty. I didn't submit this for CCLP4. I don't think I did. I might have. I submitted a lot for CCLP4. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, this little section right here, I'm pretty happy with. This took some time to construct. I kind of realized that this tank probably doesn't even need to be a tank. It could have just been a toggle wall, admittedly, but it's fine. I used a tank to be fancy. Because I think the Josh-CCLP4 days was when I was heavily inspired by TSO. TSO was probably what inspired me to be as good of a level designer as I am. So honestly, if Tyler didn't make TSO or just levels in general, I probably wouldn't be as dedicated to level design like I have been. So really huge shout outs to Tyler for putting out such amazing levels, and CC1 that inspired me to be as good of a level designer as I've been. This level did go through some alternations. I realized I didn't give myself enough time. This room, the bugs moved a little differently. It was honestly more of a careless pattern than anything else. It was like the same pattern, but I think there was like little niches that bugs went into that made the dodging harder than it needed to be. So I removed those. This section is the same. So I don't want to hit that trap button. Instead, I want to go up here, hit all these buttons to clone blocks, and then release it. So, semi-related to what was being talked about in JB's video, he also brought up something I didn't even think about initially. He brought up Marcus's CCLP4 Let's Play he did like around the time that set came out. And he reminded me that even existed, because I honestly toned that out of my head, that was a thing that Marcus did. Yeah, I completely forgot he played CCLP4. Did he even finish that Let's Play? I stopped watching it because his Marcus's commentary on levels is not fun to listen to, I have to be honest. Like I had to stop watching his playthrough because it was just not fun to listen to. And I wasn't gonna watch a soundless Let's Play. That's just kind of silly to do, I feel like. But yeah, he brought him up, and it reminded me a lot about what Marcus said about my own levels, because I know he brought up some of his own levels, or JB did, that Marcus was heavily critiquing on. And the primary reason I stopped watching that was because he was playing it with that in mind. He was critiquing it. I'm just gonna kill those because I can. I do like how when you get the green key, you can just release everything if you really wanted to. Unfortunately, the level I wanted to try to make it to where you had to like collect stuff, like more than just fire boots and the green button afterwards, but I couldn't make that work in this context. So, or like reusing the blocks or something. That would have been cool, but I just couldn't do it with what I built in this. So that's Blazing Jungle. That's, admittedly, I am kind of hoping that gets into CCLP5. It's one of those like low priority ones, I feel like. Like I'm not like super hopeful, but I do have some hope with it. Use the blocks to get through this cave. You will need them to fully explore these depths. All blue rolls are real. Alright, seafloor cavern. So this level was another Josh-CCLP5 one. It was actually part of a little mini-series I did in that set called Aquatic Caves, and I think this was the second one, if I remember correctly. So it went Aquatic Caves Part 1, and Aquatic Caves Part 2, and then Part 3. This was the second one, and honestly probably the most fun of the three. The first one was, it basically just established the basic aesthetic of this gravel checkerboard with bugs on water. And it had like a little bit of teeth guiding, and there was like a key maze in the center of the level. And the third one was more or less just block slide, because that featured ice more than water. Actually, it didn't. I don't even think it even had this aesthetic in part 3. So yeah, I only submitted the second part, and because it's the standalone level of the series that I included in my submissions, I just renamed it to Seafloor Cavern, which is a Pokemon reference. It's one of the final places in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald where you catch, I think, where the whole story climax part happens of those games. I need to replay those games. Those are... Gen 3 is really fun. Anyway, so you need to get the blocks out from the Silcorbund and reuse them elsewhere. So yeah, JB brought up this Marcus Let's Play, and he reminded me of like why I stopped watching it, because I just can't watch people who are going to be heavily critiquing in such a way. That's just not something I enjoy watching. I mean, there's nothing personal. It's just not content I'm interested in. I want to watch content where people have fun with what they do, and I'm glad that JB does have fun with the levels I've made. Glad he takes the time to not just play through them, but he does let's plays of most all my sets. I mean, heck, he's done 4 through 7, and then Walls of CCLP5. And then he'll be doing this new one that's hopefully coming out very soon. I would talk more about it, but I want to try to keep it as much on the down low as I possibly can. And I promise you, it will be worth the wait. Yeah, Marcus's Let's Play.
Bummer.
Oh, that's... yeah, that's unfortunate. Ouch. That's a time sink right there. Yeah, Marcus is... he's quite the character, I will admit. Him and I... we don't see eye to eye, I guess you can say. I mean, he's not in the community anymore, and to be completely honest, I was one of those people that was like, I'll just be completely blunt and admittedly kind of rude about it, but I was kind of happy he left the community, because he just wasn't a pleasant person. Like, that's just my opinion. I mean, there were some personality clashes, and just a lot of rudeness in general. I did not enjoy him as a person, and I blasted into the aesthetic there. Blast into the aesthetic. That's a fun level title. I would say I would make a level with that title, but these days level design is actually kind of difficult. So, going back to the JB stuff, and not necessarily about the JB stuff in general, but why I got as upset as I did, is when I watched back my video of it, I probably came across as being, I guess, butthurt that such a comment was said, and that wasn't my intention of how I came across. I mean, admittedly, there's a lot of underlying problems I'm going through at the moment that I'm intentionally not talking about, because there's there's no real reason to bring this stuff up, especially in YouTube videos. So I just keep it to myself. But a lot of it has to do with my issues with designing levels these days. So when JB brought up the whole memorable thing and the level being non unmemorable, um, it kind of left the reason I it affected me as bad as it did was because I've already been struggling with making things stand out in level design these days. Like anything new I make, it's almost impossible for something to stick because I'm just paranoid it's not going to stick out or be fun to play or something along those lines. I feel like it's going to be so heavily critiqued that um, any amount of time or effort I put into a level will just all go to being heavily critiqued and possibly in a way I'm not going to like. And because of my philosophy in life, one of my philosophies of life, I don't like to waste my time on a lot of things. So when I feel like something's going to be a waste of my time, I generally just don't do whatever that thing is. In this case, level design. So I feel like yeah, it would take time and practice to make something fun and stand out, especially nowadays where oh, that's a thing. That's a thing. We're stuck in the seafloor cavern, aren't we? Honestly, I don't mind. I don't mind replaying this. It's a lengthy thing, but it was meant to be a lengthy thing. I'm just being kind of stupid with my movements. Um, yeah, the thing with I just don't like wasting time in life because I know a lot of people like cherish like for example money is a really huge thing for a lot of people. It's a big thing for a reason, and you know it's important, and I understand its necessity and importance in the world. Um, I don't excuse that any, but I always tell myself, um, the biggest difference with time and money to me is mo- at least money is replenishable. Time is not. You only have so much time in the world, and I realize it's a pretty heavy thing to say, but that's just the reality. Um, you only get so much time in this world, whereas money, you'll always get more of it in some capacity. Yeah, you can run out of money, but you unless there's some like really dire thing going on, you're almost always going to be able to replenish that money, and thus never really have to worry about running out or becoming broke. Time you can't get that back. Like once you spend it, you spend it. And as I'm getting older these days, like I just turned 30 at the end of last month, and that's been quite a realization for me. Like it probably shouldn't be, but it has been. It's been a pretty strong thing for me to accept. That's like, hey, I'm in my 30s now. You know, the 90s was 30 years ago. Like that's a hard thing to accept. So these days, especially, I don't want to waste my time on something that will just probably not even get me anywhere. and that includes like relationships with women or friendships with certain people. Um, it's not just level design. It's just any basic thing you would want to spend your time with doing, like hobbies, collecting stuff, just anything. You name it, anything. If it takes time, it qualifies. So when the comment was said that the level wasn't memorable, I got so upset because, and I talked to VT about this. Like, VT was kind of like was low key like my shoulder to cry on, because I was pretty impacted by the statement, and I talked to VT more in depth about it. In depth, we're into depths right now. And he understood where I was coming from. He actually kind of has similar feelings. And it's really hard to put into words. Like, even just talking about it here, it's kind of hard to talk about. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, the main thing I told him was, with the level in question, the internal 3D dungeon, the thing with that level was, I don't have super strong feelings about the level itself. I for example, with CCLP5 in particular, I am submitting it for that set, but like, I will eventually get to that level in this submission set. It's like in the 190s, I think, or 189, or it's somewhere around there. But the thing that upset me the most was, when I built that level, I put quite a bit of time into it. To make interesting Sokobands that weren't just plain and basic.
Bummer.
Oh, that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate timing. Ouch. That stings. Man. Well, I guess I can just talk about the level when I'm done with this little thingy. Anyway, the thing with that level was that I actually did put some amount of effort into it. Like, I didn't just make. I could have just made basic Sokobands, and I could have gotten the exact same kind of comment. Like, there's nothing that stands out about this level. And heck, I think even at that point, the recommendations I would probably be getting would be to make it more aesthetically pleasing. My point is like, I could have made something that was probably a little bit more deserving of such a statement. And I just wanted it to be known and recognized that, hey, I didn't just make basic plain Sokobands like anyone could have just thrown together in like 5 minutes. Like, I didn't go that route. I'm a better designer than to do that. I actually wanted to try to make something that was CC specific, like the ice Sokoban in that level, for example. That was like the one instance I was a little surprised even that didn't stand out. Because if anything, that's like the one part where I actually kind of tried with the Sokoban. The other ones not so much, but I did put some time into it. I didn't just make something basic. So where I'm getting at with the whole time thing is, like, I could have spent less time making something really simple, and I could have gotten the exact same comment, but the impact of the comment wouldn't have been so substantial. Like, I guess I would have been a little bit more understanding of that comment if it was just a basic Sokoban, or the level was just nothing but plain Sokobans. So that's all I'm getting at. And that's what was bothering me the most, admittedly. I really like this ice room for what it's worth. I like the way I constructed it. Okay, so I got both blue keys, so we go down here. Man, I've screwed this level in just about every way possible. But I still am having fun playing it. I think the other thing that, like, in addition to that memorability stuff, I couldn't put it into words in the first video, but I think I can now, since I'm actively thinking about it. When it comes to level design and why, and this kind of comes to play with why I'm having such a hard time designing levels, aside from the whole time factor. And the other huge impact of it is, oh, I actually did not go up here. That's interesting. Is I tend to think that the community, like, there's some, not the community, what am I talking about? I feel like there's some set standards in place when it comes to level design that are in place but are not heard of. And if there are, I am completely oblivious to them because I have no recollection of such standards being in place other than just some common sense level design. One thing JB brings up quite often in some of these Walls of CCLP3 videos is the amount of blocks that are needed for certain tasks. I distinctly remember the level Frey Manor Isle. Okay, let's not fail this section. Time these a little better. There we go. Yeah, you can use this gravel spot right here to kind of preview what this room is about. I did make that change just so you can see that it's a bumper ending. I didn't fail the bumper. I failed the timing of it, so that was my fault. This level I'm mixed on in being in CCLP5. I like it, but I feel like it's something I don't think a lot of people are going to like, which is fine. I don't think I put too much time into this level, and even if I did, I'm pretty happy with it. So I'd probably give it like a 3 at least. Okay, collateral damage. Free up as much space as possible. The traps will definitely be useful to you. So this level almost got into CCLP4, if I remember correctly. It was a consideration, I remember. It was within the top 100 of CCLP4 voting results. I don't remember, but I think we didn't go through with it because of I think the preference was more towards chasing chips, which I think actually rated higher than collateral damage did. I think collateral damage this level. I think this level was like it was in like the top 90. I think it was like number 90 or something around somewhere around there. I submitted this just to get some, maybe get a redemption chance for CCLP5. I have no strong feelings about this level nowadays. I feel like CCLP4 should have been its set to be in. If it was going to get into a CCLP, CCLP4 should have been the one. I think it would have been more appropriate for CCLP4 than 5. But this could be a good CCLP5 level. If we're going for difficulty, this could be like an early level. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, I just don't know if there's some like set standards of level design that are being followed, and I just don't know of it. Like one thing JB mentioned was the Sokobands in Internal 3D Dungeon could have been tighter. And they can. I do recognize they can, but I don't have... I wish I could say I have the talent to make challenging Sokobands. I just don't have that talent. Internal 3D Dungeon was admittedly my attempt at making some tough Sokobans, and I mean, look, that clearly went well. I mean, okay, I think they might all be trapped. Oh, nope, there's still one out. There's still one out and about. Let's get you trapped. Okay, yeah. Now they're all trapped. Yeah, this is a fun level. I would be curious if this got into CCLP5. I hope that's not a pain to optimize, because I feel like this would be hard to optimize. I guess I'm kind of hoping that gets into the set. It's one of those low priority ones again. Okay, Pink Ball Pond. Journey to the pond and collect chips along the way. The trap button will open up the toggle doors permanently. This is a Josh-CCLP5 level. This is fairly linear. I don't have much to comment on this. I think I made this to reference Pac-Pond from Pac-Man World 2. Yeah, I just don't know if there's like set level design standards that are known about or talked about. Because I kind of feel like there is, and because I don't know them, I'm not meeting those standards, and thus my levels are being critiqued because they're not meeting these standards that certain people have in place that I don't know about. So in this case, when JB mentioned that his comment about the memorability thing was being, the context of it was whether or not it would be a good CCLP5 candidate or not. I didn't realize that was how the set was being played, or the level was being played. I mean, I have to make the assumption the whole set has been played with this mindset, and that was something I never knew about. I thought the set was being played just to play through it and have fun, like the way I play level sets. Like, yeah, like there were a couple instances in the past where I would say, oh, this could be good for CCLP5, or I'm not sure I would want to see this in CCLP5, but I would mention comments like that, but that wasn't like the entire purpose of what I was playing through level sets for, like ZK Adventure before. I'm pretty sure that LP lasted a long time, so I imagine there was at least one instance where I might have talked about like CCLP5 contenders or something. I know I definitely did with Walls of CCLP1. But again, I didn't play Walls of CCLP1 or any level set with critiquing levels for an official set like that. And I could be blowing it out of proportion. I could be saying that and it's not true. And if it's not true, do feel free to disregard what I'm saying. But based off the response I got, that's the impression I have to kind of go off of. Is that's how the whole set has been LP'd with, and that's fine that it has. I just didn't realize that. I was watching the Let's Play of Walls of CCLP3 with the impression it was just for the fun of it. But now that I know that critiquing from them for CCLP5 is, a thing happening, I can better prepare and better handle any feedback moving forward on any of the levels. Like the Walls of CCLP3 LP is basically coming to a close, so it's not like it's going to matter too much. But at least I probably don't have to worry about that with the next set he's going to play through, because CCLP5 submissions would already been closed, and the only levels at that point I would have to go off of are the ones I chose to submit from that set. So hopefully there's not going to be some level in that set that he'll end up liking, but I never submitted for CCLP5. But we'll see. But yeah, that's why it's been kind of hard for me to design, is because I don't know what players expect anymore. And I want to design levels where I can at least go off something where I know what to design that people will like. So in this case, I mentioned the whole thing with blocks and how many are required in certain sections. I mentioned Frey Manor Isle. I realized I never finished that point. Frey Manor Isle was Walls of CCLP3 level that I didn't really think anything much of it. I never submitted it for CCLP5, but after watching JB play it and say he liked it a lot, I went ahead and submitted it because I didn't know how that level was going to be perceived. And JB's response to that level was more positive than I was anticipating, so I went ahead and submitted it. But he commented that he was happy that a certain section of it only required 3 blocks. It wasn't like 5 or 6. He stated that 3 got the point across. So it's comments like that. It's like, okay, so I know not to design a level that would require 5 blocks for one specific task. I know not to do that. But it's what other things are there that I be avoiding in level design? I don't know. It's I feel like that the community or players of this game, at least some of them, it's they expect almost too much from a designer, and that's a hard thing to go off of. It's hard to design stuff, and you're met with these critiques and criticisms over certain parts of these levels, that you could have avoided, but because you didn't, they get critiqued, and the whole experience of the levels is kind of tainted on. It's just, I don't know. I find it hard to design levels with that in mind. To be completely honest, I kind of miss the days where I just kind of designed whatever I wanted, and not to say I didn't care what people thought, but, you know, I wasn't too overly concerned with criticism, I guess you can say. I get mattered, but I wasn't, like, living up to what people wanted. And I kind of feel like nowadays I almost have to do that. So, because of that, it's hard to design levels. And maybe I should do, like, this whole separate video of, like, level design process, like what I go through when I design levels, or what could I do. You know, I thought about doing like one of those how I design a chips challenge level videos like JB did years ago. I thought about doing one, and I might still do it. I'm not 100% sure. I might still do it. Oh, I think I have to do this section first. No, that's fine. I didn't realize this was actually, there was actually an ordering to this level. Okay, well, this one's easy. And this one's fairly easy as well. I think I have to do it like this. Yeah. Oh, I was on the right layer. There we go. I honestly forgot what I was even talking about. I'm sorry. I feel like it's a moot point. I think to officially close it off for good is oh, I was talking about the level design process video. Yeah, that might be something I might still do. I feel like if I was going to do it, I think I should have done it years ago. It's kind of hard to explain my thought process with level design. Okay, so here. Okay, so you're gonna do that. I hope I can plot a path quick enough for this. Yes. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to do something. I'm gonna do something fancy like this, I think. Yeah, I think to officially close this discussion off, I'm just gonna go ahead and say one more time that to JB personally, if I would be totally for having some kind of voice conversation through like a Discord call or something along those lines to better talk about this type of stuff, because I feel like it's awkward to have. It's almost like an indirect conversation with JB, because we're kind of responding to each other's videos, and I realize it doesn't make for exciting content, but you know, that's just how it goes. But I feel like from moving on is I feel like moving forward, it should be more on a personal basis. These keys are sacred, and taking all of them will cost you a future punishment. Look closely at the torches here. So there are 7 fire tiles, which means you need 7 blue keys. If you collect 8 or more, you will be trapped in a blue lock nail. So we'll just go with the flow on this. But yeah, I would be totally willing and happy to have a personal voice chat with JB. It doesn't even have to be through a video unless he wants it to be. It could be like a podcast sort of thing. I know he's expressed interest in wanting to do that with CCLP5 content. I feel like since it's relevant to CCLP5, it would be perfect to have such a discussion. Alright, so that is Blue Island. Honestly, a level I designed so long ago, I don't even remember, but I'm still really happy with this. I love the theming of it. I love every room of this level, to be completely honest. Like, this was one of those levels I just kind of designed, and it just got designed. You know, I didn't have a real thought process. I just went with a blue aesthetic and worked off that. I think this would be a good choice for CCLP5 personally. That's just me, but hopefully others will enjoy it too. Okay, panic pushing. I'll do one more, why not? Okay, so this level, I remember I designed this pretty specifically. I remember that. I actually don't remember where this level originated from. Was this a Josh-CCLP? I think this feels like a Josh-CCLP4 era style level. But I know it wasn't in Josh-CCLP4. I think this was a JCCLP2 exclusive. Because I don't think this appeared in any Josh L set. Oh, anyway. So you have to get blocks around these ice rings, which I think is cool.
Bummer.
Except when you do that. that's not cool. Yeah, if you can't tell, my tone. I think I forget who it was. I think it was VT who commented on it. He mentioned my tone of the last video was very grim and very unsettling, and I apologize for that. It's just I've gone through a lot of crap, and it's hard to sound happy and positive when you just go through so much at once. It's a work in progress. I'm slowly getting better at expressing joy and stuff in life. Hopefully this video you can tell a huge difference in my tone. I don't like the tile world timing of this, but there's nothing you can do about it. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember where this level originated from. I'm going to assume it was Josh-CCLP4 era, because this just feels like something I would make back then. Okay, so we got one more block. See, I feel like this thing would get critiqued heavily on because this takes 4 blocks to use. So I feel like nowadays people wouldn't really care for this because it's just, it uses probably 1 or 2 mini blocks and it probably needs to, and that's fine, honestly. Okay, so I think I see what I have to do. So I have to plunge this into here, make a run for it, and I have to catch this one-time block. Fill that in. I kind of like this part of the level. And thankfully, you don't have to go all the way around. You don't have to do a 5th loop with the ice ring. You can, but you don't have to do that. Be sure to push the bottom blocks on this slide before you enter the next room. Okay. Yeah, because once you leave this slide, you can't return to it. Okay, so the objective is to push all these blocks on these slides. And every clone button will free them. Okay, so collect these. It starts up a cloning mechanism. I'd be curious to see someone use these walls to make a level out of them. I feel like they could be used. I feel like they could be used pretty well. I mean, maybe this would be awkward because it's an open room or a big old room with thin walls. Okay, that's panic pushing. So, yeah, I guess to sum things up, I do accept JB's apology. I would love to move things forward with like some kind of voice chat in a video or outside a video. It honestly doesn't matter one way or the other. I feel like to be completely honest, it might be more beneficial to do like a podcast with that, since it's CCLP5 related. So that could be something we could look. That could be something we can do. Just pick like random levels we think are good CCLP5 candidates and why, or just something fun, something random, nothing super super bad or anything. But yeah, I would love to do something like that with you, JB, if you would like. That offer is on the table. I think with that all being said, thank you once again, JB, for acknowledging and responding to me through the video. I do appreciate the sacrifice you made of an entire episode's worth of content to respond to some of those points I made. It is appreciated immensely. It cleared things up immensely. I listened to the video about 3 times and I felt a lot better listening to what you had to say and clearing things up. I understand it better, understand the intentions and everything like that now. No hard feelings. I did take it a little too personally. I did take it a little bit too much to heart, which is my own fault. I'm just going through a lot of stuff right now, and it's hard to contain emotions sometimes. I am unfortunately human, so I do the best I can. So that's all I have to really say. I do appreciate it once again. And I hope Walls of CCLP3 was fun for you to play. I will comment on those videos whenever I can, and those comments will hopefully provide better insight to why I made certain design decisions or anything and everything, little fun facts about the levels or stuff like that. I do look forward to that. I hope you do as well. That all being said, thank you everyone for watching. We will play Maze of the Year in the next episode, which is one of the newer levels I added from the update I brought up. So I'll go into detail why I added this and the origins of this level. So until then, I'll see you guys later.